Okay, sorry it's been a while for making a recording, but it just got really busy and, um, you know, didn't have time to take time to make recordings, but back and going to be doing a review, and it's not about cartoons this time. The new Marvel series Jessica Jones came out on Netflix recently, and it was very good. I really recommend watching it. I I'd say watch it twice, but you definitely need to take a breather after it because it is some pretty heavy stuff. Um, Easily earns its rating with a lot of gore, violence, alcoholism, explicit descriptions of both mental and physical rape, and whoo boy, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Um, yeah, it's really good show though. I mean, yeah, boy, how do I go down from that, huh? Um, the Marvel Netflix series, they've been able to handle these darker elements that you can't get away with on the um, networks or even cable stuff, the they're telling these really good hero stories. We had Netflix earlier, and or not Netflix, but Daredevil earlier, and that one, you know, really dark, really intense. Had the hero who is filled with self doubt, a good, very good, strong villain that easily one of the best ones that they had to date in the Marvel universe. And discussing Daredevil with one of my friends, it's like as you scale down the level of the threat, the villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe get better and better, with Fisk easily as probably the best villain and pretty good one too. This time, you actually have a pretty legitimate villain. I can't really say what level threat he is because he could have gone pretty high level if he wanted to, but I'd say he's easily the biggest monster, the most inhuman character that they've introduced, and that's including Thanos, who literally wants to destroy the universe. So, yeah, Kilgrave was just a horrible person. There's your villain. He's just a really horrible, creepy person, and David Tennant. You'll never look at Doctor Who the same way. Honestly, it's whew. But your hero, on the other hand, is our drinking bruiser. So, but Jessica was a really fun character too. She had a good sarcastic wit about her, and just played this good, like, stoic, sarcastic character just really well, and willing to handle herself in a fight. On top of that, so a lot of good fight scenes with her, but mostly it's just like showing off her super strength, throwing people around. So it wasn't like in Daredevil where they have these definitely choreographed fights or a bunch of high tech explosions and stuff going around in an Iron Man or Captain America style thing. It was just straight up brawling the entire time. And paired her up really well with Luke Cage because, well, they get paired off in the comics, and introduced his character in this series as well. Really good. He is a bit more human and out there than she was, which, a bit of a very slight bit of a defrosting the Ice Queen trope in that, but they have problems, and you'd probably have to see the show to really get them, because I don't want to spoil them, because it's worth watching for their story as well. Really good supporting cast too. Just really helped make the show really go better. I don't know. There's some points in it though. They have the character Jerry, who I believe was based on actual alias character from the comics. They had an entire B story, C story, whatever level it is, about her divorce, and honestly, while it developed that character and the characters associated with it really well, it didn't really fit with most of the rest of the story. I mean, with Daredevil, they had some side stuff going on all the time, but each of that had a reason to be in the story for the most part. So having a large chunk of this story being devoted to a major supporting character, but still a supporting character, and even if it's played by she's played by Carrie-Anne Moss, so even with that, it didn't really feel like that was justified to be that much of a time investment when you could have been, exploring more like Jessica's past and why she has her powers, which, that came up at the end of the series, which I thought was a pretty interesting thing. You could sort of get hints like that part of that little few mentions, like how she got her powers, would probably play into the wider range of the Netflix shows, because if they're all about if they can connect all the characters that way, like Murdoch got his powers by an accident involving a chemical, so maybe the company who owned those chemicals, who were also potentially responsible for Jessica, they had and for Kilgrave, and for the character Nuke in the Who, got a little bit of screen time here, so even more ones, and even for Luke Cage's powers, and if they can connect all of those somehow, maybe I think I'm just thinking that out loud here, just guessing there, and just find some additional way to tie each of the characters together. We've had Rosario Dawson, who come back as Claire Temple, back from Daredevil, and we know she's going to be in Luke Cage, so she gets one episode appearance here, but having her help tie everything together, and being a very good foil for the level of cynicism Jessica brought, if just for one episode, and that was cool. One thought I had in this was about Jessica's based out of Hell's Kitchen, so is Daredevil, and just considering why they never crossed paths. One thought I had was, well, a lot of the Kilgrave stuff was happening all around New York, so it wouldn't necessarily be encountering Daredevil that much. Or, I mean, if Murdoch has stayed in his area, he's just protecting his area while Jessica's running around the city. Another thought is, and this is where it gets a little scary, is if Kilgrave said like a very generic command of just like get out of here to like a large group of people, and with Murdoch's super hearing, if he just happened to pick that up, how much that would mess with him. I mean, I'm just thinking like generic commands that nobody can really break, and then a guy who has super hearing that he uses to patrol his neighborhood with. It could have led to some bad incidents. And really thinking on that more is like, in Daredevil, you sort of had a reason why Shield and Hydra didn't show up, because, you know, Fisk, while trying to rebuild a city, he's not at the level that would require a presence from Shield or Hydra. I mean, even at the evil financial backers, I don't really would see why Hydra would be in a bit of a role to support him there. But in this level, it's like Kilgrave was obviously a level that would interest either of those groups, and it got really scary thought to me, like, what if one of them tried apprehending him without without really knowing the risks he carried, and just thinking giving Kilgrave control of a Hydra cell, that would not end very well for a lot of people. Is just an interesting thought I is having, and a bit of a scary thing. And I mean, Coulson has bigger fish to fry with than humans right now, so maybe not going after Kilgrave, or maybe he knew that Jessica was in the area and it's like, okay, we have her, we have Daredevil there, no need to risk sending in a super-powered hit squad or something like that. That'd making things worse. So maybe, but no, I don't know, just a lack of those major connections to the larger Marvel universe. You know, I don't know. That was my one complaint about Daredevil, is like there wasn't really that. They could have done one or two lines, like throw in the background of Fisk's scene with one of his supporters giving a Hell Hydra to another one of his supporters. Like, there was some interest being shown in him. In this, but in Jessica Jones, it's sort of good that there wasn't that stuff. Not just for the reasons I just said, but it's like that would have seemed really like hamstringing it in, and doesn't really sort of fit with what this story was either. So, sort of glad about that, and sort of glad that they're not saying that the powers that were caused for her, for Cage, for Kilgrave, were Hydra experiments, or they're Inhumans, or something like that. Because, you know, giving a different reason than they have in all of the other more mainstream Marvel stuff, that's a bit better in my book. Yeah, I don't know. I just really love the interconnectedness of this universe, and sometimes being able to have a show that's set in the universe, but at the same time disconnected from it really good. Although that doesn't stop me from looking for Avengers Tower in every every time the New York skyline's in one of the shots, or looking for like people complaining about Ultron drones or something like that. But yeah, so long rambling review discussion short. Again, watch the series. I highly recommend it. Just be prepared for some really intense, really creepy, really gory stuff, but that's not what the show's about. I mean, really good characters, really good story, just really draws you in. Yeah. And that's pretty why I liked it. Or pretty much why I liked it. So yeah, I highly recommend it, and really looking forward to Luke Cage, especially after getting his character established in this. So they set him up to be really good, and I'm hoping he stays really, really good. And until next time, have a good one.